Hello everybody, welcome back. Today we are going to be covering the old Demonology Warlock. This is the old Demolock before it got reworked back in Warlords of Draenor. This is what it was way back in the day, and today we're going to show you how it works. It's not a guide, this is an overview, a preview of what to expect whenever you come into Mr. Pandaria Classic, if you're interested in such a thing, and how it was back then. So let's get started. Before we start the video, make sure you like, subscribe. I'll be putting out more stuff like this with, free time, of course, and all that stuff, yada yada yada. All right, let's get into it. We're not gonna make this too long. All right, so what changed? Metamorphosis. You are your demon itself. You no longer have you no longer summon dreadstalkers, all that kind of stuff. You do the damage, and your Felguard just kind of accompanies you. You have demonic fury, which is your spender. So basically what you do as a Demonology Warlock back then was you use your spells, and your demon also kind of, your little minion also kind of generates some for you. Generate demonic fury, and at full bar or just anytime at all, you can just press Metamorphosis. It transforms your hardest hitting abilities, well, your iconic abilities. Your Shadow Bolt turns into Touch of Chaos, your Hand of Gul'dan turns into Chaos Wave, Hellfire turns into Immolation Aura, and Fell Flame turns into just, I can't remember what's called. Well, we'll find out. Alright, it's just a big AoE nuke. So Hand of Gul'dan is still the same as it always was. It doesn't use soul shards because you don't have soul shards as Demonolock. Hand of Gul'dan is just on the charge, and it just kind of does damage like it always does. It also does, it's kind of an AoE also. So it applies Shadow Flame, so it also does Demonic Fury every time it does damage. Alright, Summon Felguard is just a Felguard. It's just a little pit right here. Molten Core is basically what Backdraft is to Soulfire. You have Soulfire as a Demolock, similar to how you have Demonic Bolt today, except, Soulfire, Demonic Bolt, it's kind of the same thing. So it generates 30 Demonic Fury each time it does, and Molten Core just makes it cast faster. Wild Imps, you passively summon them, so it casts 10 fireballs and then it just disappears. It's very, very similar to how it is today. Obviously, it doesn't generate Demonic Fury because today you don't have any, but it just does damage. So each time your Shadow Bolt, Soulfire, and Touch of Chaos hits, a Wild Imp comes out. There you go. Or every 22 seconds, you also gain Demonic Calling. Or if you have a glyph called the Imp Swarm glyph, it also just immediately summons 4 imps for you. Alright, so let's go to talents. These are class based, so this is not spec based. This is shared across the entire board. We're using Soul Leech because it works the same as it does. We always used this back then. Dark Regeneration is basically what Exhilaration is for Hunters, for Warlocks, and it also increases your healing received. Harvest Life increases the Drain Life healing amount. Demonic Breath is an AoE cone that slows targets in front of you by 50%. And that's all. That's not target capped. It's all. So pretty cool. It doesn't do damage. So, Mortal Coil is Mortal Coil. Shadow Fury, Shadow Fury. Shadow Fury is instant back then. So pretty cool. Yeah, that'll never happen again. Soul Link is Soul Link. Works how it always does. Sacrificial Pact is essentially just Dark Pact except way stronger. And it's on the minute cooldown. Dark Bargain is an immunity, but you take 50% of the damage while immune over 8 seconds once it's drops off. So yes, Warlocks had an immunity back then, although I wouldn't really consider that an immunity. It's kind of a cauterize. Blood Horror is a single target fear that replaces no, it doesn't replace Heart of Terror. It's just another fear. So you can have literally 3 fears. Fear, Heart of Terror, and Blood Horror, although you don't ever take this. Burning Rush is, well, Burning Rush. Unbound Will is a trinket based talent, so you know how PvP you have that trinket that breaks out of everything. Well, this is it, and also dispels you. So you could pick that between Burning Rush, though Burning Rush is usually always taken. Though Unbound Will had us use this way back in the day, like for some bosses, or obviously in PvP you take this, but we don't play PvP. Alright, Grimoire Supremacy gives you a whole slew of new demons to summon. It also does 20% additional damage and have more powerful abilities. So there you go. So the Observer, your Wrath Guard, which is what this is. I have Supremacy, so your Felguard gets replaced by this 4-handed dude guy. No, actually, does he have 4 hands? No, he's just super cool looking. Alright, Grimoire of Service is basically what is kind of the same as what Summon Felguard is today. Except you summon pretty much everybody else if you wanted to. It's just a bonus bit, basically. And Grimoire of Sacrifice, it works the same way as it does for Destruction. If you do pick this, although a little different. It just makes it so you don't have a pet. But you never take this as demo because you always need a pet as demo. There you go. And then the last row, which is my favorite row. I wish some of these spells would come back, but it's never gonna happen again. Especially this. Alright, Archimon's Darkness. Your Dark Soul spells have 2 charges, which is your cooldown. Your big cooldown for demo is Knowledge. Increases your mastery by 30%. And you have 2 charges if you pick that. Kill Jaden's Cunning, your Shadow Bolt, Malefic Grasp, and Incinerate can be cast while moving. Obviously, your demo, so you have Shadow Bolt. Awesome spell. The most overpowered spell probably in the game. It's never coming back. Never ever coming back. Always pick this. Mana Rose Fury, never use it. Increases your damage of your AoE by 100% and the area of it by 500%. So, Hellfire, Immolation Aura, Rainfire, Seed of Corruption for 10 seconds. Only in really big packs do you ever take this. But even then, it didn't. Even way back when we had super huge AoE packs, we never really take this anyway. Alright, so here we go for your glyphs. The best glyph in the game. Where is it? Demon Hunting, there you go. This makes you a tank. So if you take this glyph, as opposed to all the other ones, you actually have a new spell called, let me see, what's it called? Dark Apotheosis. Let me see where it is. Dark Apotheosis. It's a separate button, so it's not shared with Metamorphosis. You have to press it separately. You turn into a tank. It's super cool. So awesome stuff. So instead of actually, well, you can still do damage, you know, but you're literally tank. Way back when this glyph was taken pretty cool. Well, it's taken pretty often in dungeons and raids. People actually were warlock tanking back in the day with this glyph, and it actually worked. It was kind of a meta pick or a troll pick if you wanted to, but it worked. People were playing heroic raids. So super cool stuff. All right, so Glyph of Demon Training. So basically makes your pets do more damage. It's basically supremacy on top of supremacy, basically. Glyph of Imp Swarm, it makes it so you summon full wild imps instantly instead of just depending on your, your passive. So your passive here, wild imps. It makes it so you can summon 4 imps basically instantly. So pretty cool. And then your minor glyphs over here, well, some of the other ones you also have. So Demonic Circle, Curse of Exhaustion that applies to you, Curse of the Elements. This is the one you take when you're not tanking as a warlock. So this is usually just one we always take. Sometimes on single target you also take, you don't really take this on single target. You can probably take Eternal Resolve just for like a more passive option for your damage reduction. Although it makes it so you can't press, and then resolve. It becomes passive. And also Healthstone. Healthstone is usually the one you always take also. Or Life Tap. Don't never pick Life Tap. This almost killed me way back in the day because I never took. It makes it so you don't take healing. It because of healing absorb. All right. So how does Demonology Warlock play compared to how it works today? So today you build up your soul shards, you spend them on your demons, you summon your tyrant, and then you just do blast damage. It's a spender spec, basically a ramp up spender spec, like how it is today, except way back when you don't summon your demons, you don't summon your tyrant, you just go straight full force with Metamorphosis. You do your damage yourself. So I'll show you some of the rotations. So before you get started, you pop your class buff, which is Dark Intent. Yes, Warlocks had the class buff back then. You have your Curse of your Elements. We're going to apply that. We're going to apply Corruption, Hand of Gul'dan, and then if you have your Imp Swarm, you're going to go ahead and do that. We don't actually use your cooldowns until you actually have your Metamorphosis. Also, you also want to spend your Soul Fire as much as you can. That way you can generate extra Fury. You also have Fell Flame, which makes it so you can cast while moving. It's just a random ability. It doesn't really do much. Shadow Bolt, you can cast it while moving if you take Kill Jaden's Cunning, which is extremely overpowered. Oh, make sure you have your Corruption on there. There you go. Okay, and once we get our full Fury, that's where we'll pop our cooldowns. And let me show you. Okay, our cooldown is going to be Doom Guard. So that's basically kind of a tyrant. We're going to pop our Doom Guard. And we're going to pop our Dark Soul meta. And you can see you instantly want to pop your Doom, Chaos Wave, pop your Immolation Aura, and your Void Ray, which if you have AoE, you pop Void Ray, and then you just want you do the Fellstorm. Touch of Chaos, it replaces, it's instant cast. So Touch of Chaos replaces your Shadow Bolt while you are in demo form. So You just want to make sure you're building and spending. You're building and spending is the real. I have no idea why my dude's sitting there attacking that guy. But either way, you see, your mana actually matters way back when. So you have your life tap to get your mana back, though you don't want to cast it too much because you actually lose some golden cooldowns while using your attacks. Use your hand of Gul'dan. So in like a dungeon environment, if you want to do any kind of AoE whatsoever, it's a little tricky because your only AoE outside of Immolation Aura is Hellfire, and Hellfire is a channel cast. You can do this while moving, but the only way to stop Hellfire is not press Hellfire again because it just resets the duration. It's either one, you run out of mana, or you cast another ability. So, all right, so we're gonna try and go back to demon form again. We're gonna pop Metamorphosis, and then I'll show you wait, I don't have it. Oh, whatever. We're gonna show you the rotation one more time, and then yeah, you're gonna try to want to avoid casting, I think, Soulfire, I think it is, in Metaform. I think that's correct. If I'm doing this wrong, I'm not sure. Okay, Meta, put your Doom up, and we're gonna cast Soulfire. Make sure you have your Immolation Aura up, and then pop whatever cooldowns you may have. And you don't ever want to cause Void Ray unless you have like a huge pack. But you always want to have Immolation Aura up. And then Touch of Chaos. Touch of Chaos, obviously, since it's instant cast, you can just cast it while moving. So, but if you're in Metaform and you want to do AoE, you have to be like right in front of your enemies. So that's kind of a bummer. But that's just how it was back then, you know. But also, you know, unlike me, make sure your dots are rolling. Make sure your Curse of the Elements is always on. And that's really about it for demo. Yeah, demo back then was just super fun. Just being a little demon and just going around, just doing massive damage in melee range. Yeah, that's just how it is back then. Do I prefer it back then, like currently on MoP Classic, as it is to retail? Well, I mean, they both have their flavors. I mean, they both have their fun. They both have their kind of roles. They're obviously both very different play styles, but I do like how it is today compared to what it was back then. But back then, it was still pretty fun. Okay guys, we're going to show you the Warlock tanking with the Dark Apotheosis glyph. So basically what this is it makes it so you are able to tank. As you can see, I have it active, and I am not actually using any Fury. I have Soul Chef, Provocation, and Fury Ward as my two abilities that generate threat and just reduce damage, and it works. Look at this. So back then, people were actually using this to tank in dungeons and in raids and all that stuff. And I'm really just tagging some random mobs here. And yeah, since you're a Warlock, you also have Drain Life. So pretty cool. Your Curse of your Elements is also AoE. So I think I don't think you use mana. I'm not sure. But let me just tank a little bit more, just just to show you guys some more stuff about it. Okay, and you can still use your pet. Look at this. Your Hellfire actually lasts 8 seconds rather than it being a toggle. Oh. You also generate Fury instead of spending it with some of your abilities over here. Like you see your Hand of Gul'dan, you have your Demonic Slash. Oh, I'm sorry, the sound effects are really stupid. Okay, and then you have your Drain Life. Your Soulfire, and you're literally a ranged tank in a sense. So obviously you probably, I probably shouldn't have done it. I'm gonna use my Soulstone here. There you go. So as far as mitigating damage, you're pretty much not as good as what a regular tank would be, but you do have your Fury Ward too. So yeah, I'm guessing this is where the Vengeance Demon. Ooh. Oh, look at that. I'm guessing this is where the Vengeance Demon Hunter got his idea from. I'm guessing this is where it stole it from. So, So yeah, that is Dark Apotheosis. It is the glyph. So it's the glyph of demon hunting. The one very, very special thing that you could do with Demonology Warlocks back then. I don't think we'll ever see this again. Because, we already have our demon hunters in the game. Warlocks will never be able to tank again. But at least we have it in Classic MoP. And that's probably where we'll ever see it. So, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I'll be putting out more of these videos very, very soon. All the way until July 21st or whenever it is MoP Classic comes out. I appreciate you guys. I will talk to you later.